Each year, the Japanese village of Inkadate transforms rice paddy fields into large-scale works of art. Known as Tanbo art, this tradition started in 1993 with the purpose of reviving the region's dwindling economy. It became and remains a huge success, with hundreds of thousands of spectators visiting the place to personally witness these incredible masterpieces. They have a different theme each year, like Japanese folklore, anime, and iconic figures from movies, all made in exquisite detail using 10 colorful strains of rice plant varieties. The Japanese love everything that's cute, or kawaii as they call it, like cats and anime characters with their large, adorable eyes. As for their pooches, the latest craze in Japan is to groom their dogs into perfectly trimmed cubes. It isn't just in Japan, but its neighboring countries as well. The Japanese must have a thing for cubes, since they also do it to their favorite summer fruit, watermelons. In Japan, they take cultivating melons pretty seriously. You won't only see pricey cube-shaped watermelons, but also ones in a heart and pyramid shape. There are even human-faced watermelons complete with eyes, a nose, and a mouth. As for one of Japan's most iconic characters, Hello Kitty even has her face on a melon. To top it off, these Hello Kitty branded melons are priced at $69.
Do not leave tips. It's very convenient, but if you don't know about this rule, you can end up in an embarrassing situation. On one of my first days in Japan, I had an amazing meal in a restaurant. The food, service, atmosphere, everything was perfect. So before leaving, I put a generous tip on the table. Well, my waiter stopped me before I got out the door to return my forgotten money. When I'm at home in the US, I'm not the only one having my lunch on the run, hopping on the bus with a Coke in one hand and a hot dog in the other. In most places in Japan, though, eating and drinking on the street or in public transport is frowned upon, unless it's a Shinkansen or similar long-distance train. You just don't take a sandwich or coffee for a walk to the nearest park. It's much more common to have a meal in the same place where you bought your food. And if it's street food, eat it while standing still or find somewhere to sit down. But this rule could already be outdated. I've seen quite a lot of locals scarfing snacks while hurrying somewhere. If you ask a Japanese person for directions, they won't point. It's considered threatening and therefore impolite. Instead, they'll either provide you with verbal directions or show where you should go with an open hand. Now, about greeting people. I'm sure you know that shaking hands is nothing but bad manners in Japan. Well, if you're a foreigner, no one will scold you. Japanese people are used to shaking hands with Westerners. But if you want to blend in, you should bow when meeting people, thanking someone, or apologizing. If you're served nigiri sushi, which is a slice of raw fish placed on pressed rice, dip it in the sauce upside down. This way, only the fish will touch the sauce, and the rice won't get wet and sloppy. If you find it tricky to do with your chopsticks, remember that using your hands is also an option. One more table etiquette rule to keep in mind next time you're in Japan enjoying that delicious local cuisine. When eating soup, first lift the bowl closer to your mouth and use your chopsticks to fish out all the solid stuff. Then drink the broth directly from your bowl. When in Japan, you need to show proper respect to people's business cards. I mean, you should do that no matter where you are. But it's a particularly careful exchange in Japan. So if someone offers you their business card, which is called a mishi, take it with both hands and examine it attentively. If you're in a meeting at this moment, put the card on the table in front of you. The rudest thing you can do is shove another person's business card in your pocket. You have to carefully put it inside a case or wallet. Most taxis have doors that open automatically. So when a car pulls up, don't rush to open the door. The driver will do it by pressing a button. Operating the door by yourself makes most drivers a bit upset. Well, it turns out that while Japan was never a dominion of Her Majesty, British companies were responsible for building Japan's first railways in the 1870s. They brought their lane preference with them. As trains gave way to electric trolleys and eventually cars, the tradition stuck, and by 1924, left-side driving was codified into law across the nation. So, show of hands, who likes chocolate? Well, I can't actually see you, so I'm just going to assume everyone put their hands up. Ever since the Mayans figured out how to grind it into an edible paste, the world has been cuckoo for cocoa, and Japan is no exception. Or maybe it is, judging by some of the interesting flavors on display. Take, for example, the humble Kit Kat, a staple of American vending machines and convenience store counters. These chocolate-covered wafer cookies are even more popular in Japan than in the West for two reasons. The first is that, by astounding coincidence, Kit Kat sounds almost exactly like the common Japanese phrase kidokatsu. Translates to "you will surely win," and is the cultural equivalent of an English speaker saying "good luck." Nestle was quick to seize on the luckiest bit of free advertising in history, leading the Kit Kat to become the most popular chocolate bar in Japan. The other main factor in Kit Kat's success is the sheer variety of region-exclusive flavors available to Japanese candy connoisseurs. These range from traditionally chocolate-associated flavors, such as strawberries and banana, to flavors like corn, wasabi, and green tea. Japan has a culture that's always fascinated the rest of the world. We've all heard about this country's unique mix of tradition and futurism. But I was surprised to find out that sumo is not the most popular sport there, and it takes mad skill to prepare a river pig. Oh yeah, and bathing is done a little differently than you might be used to. In Japanese culture, the main cleaning routine is done at night in several steps. Follow closely, please. First, run a hot bath and hop in the shower. You just need to lightly wash any sweat or dust off your body. Make sure you're totally rinsed, and next, have a soak in that bath, just long enough to open your pores. You might add some Epsom salt and some other skin-nourishing ingredients. Kind of like brining a turkey for Thanksgiving. And anyone with long hair, make sure it doesn't touch the bath water. Pull it up in a high bun if you need to. Then climb out of the bath and let any ingredients you added soak into the water. Time to head back to the shower for another rinse. This second rinse isn't always done, but it'll remove any more stubborn grime. Since the room is probably steamy by now, your body temperature will be up, and this will open the pores even more. It also gets the metabolism going. Now you're ready to double dip and have a long, luxurious soak in that bath. Make sure the water is still hot. Well, I guess you don't have to worry about that if you're using a Japanese tub. They have a built-in heater so that the water stays hot. In Japan, bathing is more for relaxation, and it goes beyond just the body. It cleanses the soul, too. Rooted in the belief system of Shintoism, a hot evening bath washes the stress of the day away. Plus, your skin is getting the benefits of those extra ingredients you added. If you've ever been to Japan, you'll know that public bathing is very popular too. There are public bathhouses called sentos in nearly every town. Because of their location, the Japanese can enjoy bathing in hot springs as well. Those are known as onsens. In earlier times, many Japanese houses didn't have bathtubs or a heating system for the water or home, so public bathing became the solution. Now it's more of a cultural tradition. A sento or onsen is usually part of an inn that has pools and showers and is stocked with soap and shampoo. People can socialize and relax after a long day at work. Hey, sign me up. Strolling around Tokyo in the evening, you'll notice people dressed in neat suits just sleeping on the ground like it's their own cozy bed. There's even a word for it in Japanese, inamuri. Falling asleep on the job shows that you're working hard, so some people even fake it to get appreciation. Wow, getting a pay raise for napping in your office chair. Sounds like fun to me. Still, companies and the government alike are doing their best to make people go home earlier. One IT company, for example, makes its employees wear purple capes of shame on the last Wednesday of a month if they work too many hours. I wonder how hardworking these people are then. Well, they're like that for a reason after all. all students are required to tidy up in their school during the day. The tradition is called osoji, and it includes mopping floors and cleaning bathrooms. It teaches the students to help and respect other people, and they sure take it seriously. High social standards have a downside though. There are currently over 500,000 people in Japan called hikikomori. These are young adults who seclude themselves at home and won't go out no matter what. The government links this phenomenon to the psychological and social pressure, and frankly, I couldn't agree more. Anyway, rigorous practice in education makes the Japanese successful in life most of the time. The literacy is close to 100%, which is the highest in the world, and the unemployment rate is only about 4%, which is, as you may guess, pretty low compared to most countries. Most people know that a sure sign they can cross the road is the little lit-up green man, right? Well, not in Japan. There, you should wait for a green rabbit called Miffy. This bunny is a creation of Dick Bruna, a Dutch author of children's books. How did this rabbit make it to Japan? The answer is simple. It looks very much like the Hello Kitty the Japanese are in love with. Ever tried those amazing head massagers that are said to reduce stress and rid you of headaches? Cool, huh? But in Japan, you can get a lazy and much more creative alternative to this advice. It's electric and looks like a big, multicolored octopus. Wow, give me two. You're probably used to sitting on a chair when visiting a bar or a cafe, right? You might ask me, what are you talking about? What else am I supposed to sit on? Well, in Japan cafes, chairs look more like low, comfortable armchairs, and if you try hard enough, you can even lie on one of them. Such pieces of furniture are called izakaya, which is also the name of the informal Japanese pubs where you can find them. Pringles have been incredibly popular all over the world for decades. However, when you buy Pringles in Japan, you don't get a tube of potato chips, you get noodles. Yep, Pringles is a noodle brand, and the Japanese eat this ramen very often. Usually, a coffee machine is a simple thing. Several buttons for choosing a drink to your liking and standard paper cups. In Japan, however, a coffee machine is so much more. First, there's a service that lets you order your coffee in a special app and pick it up in the most conveniently located store at a particular time. But on top of that, you get your drink not in a plastic or paper cup, but in a bottle that can be customized with the help of multicolored tags. Really? What would be more natural for us Westerners than to visit the nearest cafe, order a coffee and a sandwich, and enjoy our lunch break sitting alone at the table? But in Japan, if you come to a cafe alone, you get a massive plush moomin as your lunch companion, so that you don't feel sad. I'm not sad really, I just want to be left alone. Animal-shaped cookies are always fun to eat, aren't they? Oh, that feeling of anticipation when you put your hand in the bag and try to guess which critter you're going to eat next, you carnivore. In Japan, you can play the same guessing game, but there, your catch will be Pokemon-shaped cookies. Every single time I eat sushi, rice falls off the pieces of fish as soon as I pick them up with my chopsticks. Now in Japan though, people don't have this problem. They mix the rice with a special sauce that consists of salt, sugar, and rice vinegar. This sauce keeps the rice together and allows you to bring sushi up to your mouth in one piece. Sign me up.